Hi, I'm Chris Pang. My traditional career has been welding, but I've always had an interest in technology, and I've spent the last few months developing a framework for keeping AI outputs honest and from letting them outpace their evidence. I call it P-Gates. It's a PAL, PECAN, and P-root auditor that checks structure, identifies consequential boundary crossings, detects authority and uncertainty drift, and produces a useful human-facing response. I built P-Gates with GPT 5.6 and Codex. It uses Codex to inspect the framework corpus, scaffold the fast API application, implement the interface and type schemas, add the live provider, write tests, diagnose failures, and set up offline GitHub actions. I use ChatGPT 6 with GPT 5.6 to provide feedback, troubleshoot local issues, and create prompts for codecs based on my specifications. My role was to provide conceptual architecture, identify boundaries, review outputs, and retain the release authority. Let's get into the project.
Okay, so this is a mock-up demonstration of P-Gates. There's a prefix example, but to use it for real, you'll have to use your own API key. The input starts with an uncertain facial recognition result. The input states a possible candidate, high similarity, and that their identity is unverified. A later report promotes that into identified suspect without new evidence. When I run the audit, PAL separates what was observed from what remains unresolved. PECAN identifies the crossing, authority drift, and false corroboration risk. P checks who carried the burden, whether the response is fair, whether it can be challenged, and whether the harm can be repaired. SEED produces a human facing bounded language that preserves uncertainty. The trace shows exactly where the wording changed, why it mattered, and a safer replacement. Results can be exported as JSON or Markdown for review provenance. A more detailed 6-page walkthrough of this example is included in the directory. But to summarize the tool, pgates does not make the decision. It keeps the root visible and accountable for humans. So, in summary, pgates keeps evidence, authority, and human responsibility visible. Thanks for watching.